Hello my Foonatics, it's Fufu here. Today I am bringing you week 8 of the GBA D-League. This is my final conference match. I have already made the playoffs, which is great, but this match determines where I finally come in my conference. So I'm playing Adam, who I played 2 weeks ago, and he's currently top of the conference. If I beat him though, it means that I will be top of the conference, which will be really cool, coming from very, very low down in the conference. Let's just say very low down. In the first 2 weeks, yeah, I didn't do too well, but since then I haven't lost, which is really cool, and I would love to keep that record going. So yeah, as I say, I beat Adam 2 weeks ago, but I did get very lucky. His Latias missed a Draco Meteor on my Kyurem, allowing me to bag a KO that I shouldn't really have gotten. And I did play recklessly, but yeah, it will be really interesting to see how it plays out without hacks factoring in. I felt like my team was really strong against his, and if I didn't play as recklessly, then that hacked maybe wouldn't have mattered so much. So I decided not to change too many things up, but I wanted to take into account some of the things that he might change. So I thought, having seen last time, my team was pretty weak to rocks. I had a Sashed Infernape and a Kyurem and a Rotom that would all be very sad if rocks were up. So I thought that he would probably bring rocks, and I also thought that he would bring Terrakion. I was surprised he didn't bring it last time. So seeing the Terrakion was not a surprise at all to me because it can do rocks and it can be really powerful. He did bring the Regirock though, and I didn't necessarily expect that, but seeing it just guaranteed that there would be rocks somewhere on his team. So the team that he brought this time wasn't too much of a surprise. He still didn't bring his Heatran and his Venusaur, which I didn't expect to see anyway because my team handles them really well, but they're prepared. I was prepared for it anyway. So the changes I made were that I went with a specially defensive Rotom with lefties, just because if rocks did get up, it has more staying power. I can Pain Split, and I felt like that would be a better way to go with that. It also means that I can Toxic some things that may be harder to kill, because Vaporeon was being a bit of a problem last time. If I can get a Toxic on it, it would be really useful. I decided to bring everything else exactly the same apart from Infernape, which I changed from being Sash to Scarf because he brought a Scarf Crobat last time, and I thought that he wouldn't do the same this time. I didn't think that he would bring a Scarfer faster than Infernape this time, and obviously I didn't want to bring Sash again because he probably would bring rocks. So I thought that Scarf Infernape would work really well this time. So that was the team. Let's get into the battle. I wanted to lead with Skarmory because I felt like it would be really cool if I could get rocks early, but also because I've been leading with Kyurem a lot, and I thought that he would probably predict Kyurem, which it looks like he may well have done leading with the Latias. He didn't lead with Thunderous T, and that would have been him not predicting Kyurem, basically. So anyway, I don't want to be too reckless right now. He could Thunderbolt with his Latias, so I'm going to switch out my Skarm and go into Sylveon to take on the Latias really well. He actually switches into Terrakion. Just going to go straight for a Hyper Voice. I know I can take any one hit from a Terrakion, and if I can take it out early game, that would be unbelievably good. But he actually goes into Crobat. I protect to try and Scout, and I see the Nasty Plot, which is not nice to see. But I do know that Sylveon can take a +2 Sludge Bomb from a Crobat, so he has to basically go for it to get the 2-hit KO. I'm going to switch into Skarmory, predicting the Sludge Bomb, and then switch into my specially defensive Rotom because Heat Wave was banned or obvious. So that was really nice for me, being able to handle the switches around the Crobat and it really not being able to do anything. I wanted to go for Volt Switch here, probably should have done, but I was thinking if he goes into Thunderous T, I won't get the initiative. But actually, why would he go into Thunderous T on a specially defensive Rotom? That wouldn't be very clever at all, and I should have just gone for Volt Switch in the end, really. He brings in his Regirock as I go for an Overheat. I can't really tell from this damage whether it's specially defensive, or invest in an attack or whatever, so it doesn't give me too much information, but I do see his lefty is not a V, which can be useful. I'm thinking he's going to go straight for the Stealth Rock. As I say, I think from last time he will believe that rocks are really important to him. So I'm going to Volt Switch out into Skarmory and just be able to go for the Defog if he chooses to do that. He does choose to do that, so I'm going to be able to get an easy Defog off right here. It means that Adam will have a good switch into an offensive Mon if that's what he wants to do, but that's okay. I'll try and deal with whatever comes of it. So he goes into the Thunderous T, and I'm just going to switch into my Rotom. Now that rocks are gone, I don't have to worry about switching around quite a lot with my Rotom because he's not going to be taking all the damage, and you can see this Volt Switch does nothing. yeah, Rotom just eats it up. That's the point of Rotom coming here, because he can just do the things. Now Latias comes in, which is interesting to see. I really can't touch it with my attacks. However, I do have Toxic, as I said before. I take a Side Shock not too well, because I'm specially defensive, not physically defensive, but I am able to get the Toxic off, which should be useful in the long term. Latias is quite hard to take down, and my things that are faster than it don't hit it too hard. That will be Infernape. Because it resists the hit, so it's good to get some residual going on there. I can go into my Sylveon now and be able to sponge any hits it wants to go for, and I can go for a Hyper Voice, because Hyper Voice, it puts a lot of pressure on his team. There isn't too much that likes to take it. The Crobat doesn't really like it because it does a lot of damage even though it's resisted. But he goes into Regirock here, and this is when I can see actually that's looking to be much more specially defensive. Hyper Voice is a powerful attack even though I'm uninvested, and that really didn't do very much damage at all to the Regirock. I'm going to switch straight into my Skarmory again because I do not want the rocks to be up. Kyurem, I do not want taking that residual damage. Kyurem is great at taking hits and dishing out damage, and if he has to take rocks, he can't take those hits as well at all. He can't set up as many subs, so I really don't want those rocks to be around. I'm going to defog. As Blitzen comes in again, I could switch out into my Rotom. Rotom's already taken quite a lot of damage though, and I could potentially get a Pain Split off at some point, so I'd rather go into my Sylveon and preserving my Rotom to get a Pain Split off on a slower Mon. So that's what's going to happen here. It does allow him to bring in his Crobat again, and I'm going to make a switch right now. I'm going to go straight into Kyurem, because I feel like Kyurem can take out this Crobat. Even if he goes for a Nasty Plot, I think I can take a +2 Sludge Bomb. I wasn't sure how much it would be doing. He does go for the Nasty Plot. I'm going to try and tank the Sludge Bomb if I can, and just go for an Ice Beam, which will easily take out the Crobat. And you can see that that doesn't even do 50%. So Nasty Plot Crobat is good if it's super effective against something, but it really isn't powerful enough. As you can see there, Kyurem just eats it up. Kyurem is a bulky mofo though, so kudos to Crobat for trying. The threat Terrakion comes in. I do not like seeing that thing. I'm going to have to go into my Skarm as he gets up a Swords Dance on the switch. Not great for me. I don't really want to sack anything else. I feel like Rotom's quite important for the Thunderous because it did quite a lot of damage to my Sylveon. I'm not sure my Sylveon can handle it too well, seeing as though it's got other things to handle at the same time. So I'm just going to go for a Brave Bird with my Skarmory, break the potential Sash, and get a really nice chunk of damage off on this Terrakion. Means that my defog has gone down though, so there's potential for rocks on my side of the field later on. At this stage, I'm not too worried about it. I have to go into Infernape to try and revenge with the close combat. He switches into Vaporeon that takes a really good chunk from this. Now, I'm going to make a cheeky switch going into the Rotom. Basically, he can either throw up a Wish, in which case I can get a Toxic off or a Volt Switch off on this Vaporeon, or he's going to go for a Scald, but that means that I can come in and threaten the Vaporeon out, meaning that it won't get its Wish up, which is good for me either way. So Rotom does go down, bit unfortunate, but as I say, I'm going to be able to come in with my Kyurem and put a lot of pressure on this team, because I can set up a sub right now. I could have just gone straight for a Fusion Bolt, not sure if it would have killed the Vaporeon though, and I have made the mistake of not subbing when a Scald was incoming, and that was a bad mistake to make. I did lose that match right at the beginning of the season, so I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm just going to go for a sub as Regirock comes in. Not necessarily something that I wanted to see, and not sure if Earth Power is going to be 2 hit KO on especially defensive Regirock. We can see looking like it might be, even after leftovers it might be, but then I see the Drain Punch, and that's not cool. That's definitely not cool. With the HP he gets from the Drain Punch, he does actually break up my sub. That's quite a lot of HP, and he's going to get lefties as well, and I really don't know if my Earth Power is going to kill. I'm thinking he's probably just going to set up rocks right now, so I might as well try for the kill with my Kyurem. But he lives on a sliver. I didn't actually think it would be doing that much, but he does live on a sliver. And because of the Drain Punch, he gets a lot of health back, meaning that Ice Beam probably won't kill. And the issue I have is he's still got Latias and Thunderous T that are immune to the Earth Power, but I think he will predict me to predict one of those to come in and go for an Ice Beam, so I'm going to go for the Earth Power as he does stay in. I get that right, and I'm able to take out the Regirock, which was pretty important, because it means he doesn't get rocks up, and it means that he doesn't kill my Kyurem. Both things that I like to see. So I did get that right, but my Kyurem is very unhealthy right now and not going to be able to take too many more hits. Because Skarm has gone, I'm going to have to make a really horrible switch into Alakazam to break the stash on the Terrakion, because I really don't have many switches in on the Terrakion. There are things that can deal with it, but no switches in. Basically, no counters, but some checks. He brings in the Vaporeon on the Alakazam. Alakazam is powerful though, and a Psyshock Energy Ball combination is going to take out the Vaporeon. It looked to be physically defensive because the Energy Ball did considerably more than the Psyshock. Now the Thundurus comes in. It looks like it might be Scarf. Thinking it probably is Scarf. Seeing the damage, it's not doing a horrific amount of damage. It's doing a lot of damage, but not not hemorrhaging everywhere kind of damage. So that's the thing. It's probably Scarfed, and I need to keep that in mind. At this stage, Kyurem is actually outsped by everything on Adam's team, so there's really not much point in keeping it around now. It did a nice job taking out the Regirock and also taking out the Crobat, but its time has come. But yeah, Latias is in here. I can bring in my Sylveon, and Sylveon can stop this thing pretty easily. I can just stall it out with Wish Protect if I want, or I could just go for a Hyper Voice. Now this is an interesting play. I'm not sure why Adam did this. He probably was trying to catch my Alakazam if I wanted to switch into it to try and get the Wish up, and he goes for the Dark Pulse, but both Infernape and Sylveon resist that, and it's not very powerful, and Alakazam is already really weak. He could have just gone for a Thunderbolt. It hits everything. It would have killed Alakazam and hit the other two for more damage, so I don't know why he went for that. Maybe wanting flinches, but you're not going to beat a Sylveon with flinches if you're a Scarf Thundurus, so I'm not sure what happened there. It might have been a misclick. And now because I can spam Hyper Voice, he can't switch out because I would kill whatever switches in. So Sylveon gets that kill with the Thundurus. Sylveon can probably just wrap this match up because it probably will be able to take any one hit from Terrakion and Latias and kill them both with the Hyper Voice. But I'm going to play safe. Sylveon's much more important for the Latias. I'm going to stack my Alakazam. I could have tried to predict the Iron Head and gone into my Infernape, but if you'd gone for close combat and killed my Infernape, I felt like that was a worse situation. So now I'm in with my Infernape. I can go for a close combat, and actually with the toxic damage that I've got on the Latias, I'm able to 2-hit KO. And that just made me so happy that little Rotom had done his job beautifully, got the kill on the Latias. Very, very happy about that. I did stay in for the risky 2-hit KO with the close combat because he could have predicted me to switch into Sylveon on the Latias there and gone into his own Terrakion, and that wouldn't have been a great situation for me. So I'm glad I did what I did, and it means that I go away with a 2-0 with both Sylveon and Infernape left. So that was a really good victory for me. There wasn't much hacks on either side. It was just a good battle. Probably my best of the season, I think. Best till last day. Yeah, really great battle. And thank you so much to Adam for giving me that. It was really fun. He really brought his game. Really some great sets, and he definitely identified the weaknesses to my team last time, such as rocks and stuff. Anyways, that victory means that I am top of the conference at the end of the season, and it means that I'm actually second seed going into the playoffs, which is a bit ridiculous because I lost really badly to George, who is my next opponent, and George has lost to Miguel. So I think technically I'm probably third seed, but that's not how it works. I am going in second seed off of my record. So I think I'm going in second seed off of my record, or maybe no. George has got a better record than me, so I think I'm third seed. I'm probably third seed. Yeah, George has got a better record than me. I'm talking rubbish. Anyway, yeah, my next match is against George. And George, as I said, I lost to earlier on. I was a bit unlucky, but he played really well, and it was a 5-0, and it was just horrible. I stood no chance in that game. I feel like I've got to know my team a lot better. I feel like I will be able to build a better team for George, and it will be a really great match, so definitely watch out for that, because this is determining who gets into the final. Really exciting stuff right now. I hope you guys are on board. Hope you guys are cheering on Newcastle United. I've been Fufu, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Bye!